For the last 3.5 years, the number 1 spot in O's has been dominated by one person. In that time, we haven't seen a single person that comes even close to him in raw skill. Even the only time he was knocked off the number 1 spot, he came back on top only 14 days later. That man is mrekk. To give you a perspective of how dominant he is, the gap between him and the number 2 player is now 3,500 PP, and it looked like this would go on for another few years, until a new contestant entered the ring. His name is Ivaxa. Ivaxa isn't exactly new. He was known before for his 1.5k choke on the Deceive plus double time, and his single tap only play on Euphoria back in the speed meta. Yes, he is single tapping this shit. But now that speed is nerfed, speed aim seems to have become the new meta, and Ivaxa is among the best of speed aim players. And I'd even say that he is the second in the entire world, only behind, of course, mrekk. Though Ivaxa is something that mrekk doesn't have, his raw tapping speed. For the last few years, the best candidates for the number 1 spot consisted of players that are the best in speed and aim. Whoever has the best combination of the two is usually the one that comes out on top. We've seen that with mrekk, we've seen that with Lifeline, with Akolibed, Sumer, Kamen Sheik, Akanzex, and even Eterna. But in the end, mrekk still came out on top. The only exception was when Akolibed managed to close the gap back in July of 2024 and overthrow mrekk as the number 1 player while mrekk was chill maxing in Sydney, and then mrekk took it back 14 days later. But Ivaxa has even more potential than Akolibed and arguably even mrekk. This kid can play 335 BPM streams like it's nothing, and manages to aim and single tap the craziest jumps you throw at him. So I think it's safe to invest in Ivaxa's stocks. He still has a long way to go, with the current PP gap between him and mrekk being around 5.5k PP, which might seem like a lot, but seeing his scores lately, it probably won't take long before that gap is under 1,000. He just skipped 1.4k and set 2 1.5k PP plays to enter the top 3 just recently, so who knows, maybe he'll pull in a Akolibed and set a 1700 next. May I also mention that Ivaxa currently has a playtime of around 1100 hours, which is less than mrekk when he got number 1 at 1200 hours. So while mrekk was doing this at 1200 hours, Ivaxa is doing this at 100 hours less. It's safe to say that Ivaxa has a lot of potential, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was the number 1 player by mid 2025. So let's just hope he doesn't overtake mrekk for only 14 days and have a bit of a better number 1 speech.
This is my perfect victory!